So what Article 8.2 of the European Convention allows is something called this margin of appreciation, which enables a state to, in effect, have a trapdoor out of the obligations out of the European Convention. Now, I think that Gibraltar needs to haul itself into the 21st century, put aside some of the arguments that we've had in the context of this debate. And now that I've spoken in the debate, I've presented the government's arguments in the debate, I'm quite happy to tell you what I think, because the consultation is now over. Neil Costa, as you know, presented the bill for the government. My position has been remarkably clear. I don't think we can kidnap a woman and make her have a baby for 9 months, whilst she might decide that she, for very good reasons, does not want to continue with the pregnancy. And I know that what I'm saying is an aberration for some people, and that they will not share my view, and they will indeed perhaps shun my views on other issues because I have that view about this particularly important issue. But it is, in fact, the case that the government considers it is bound by the decision of Northern Ireland, not by way of obligation, because it's not an order in respect of the government of Gibraltar, but because it highlights that Section 7 of the Gibraltar Constitution is being infringed, which is the same as Article 8 of the European Convention of Human Rights. But that when you're considering those issues, and it's not Section 7 that was before the court, it was Article 8, there is this possibility of a margin of appreciation. What I think will happen now is that, having made the decision that this bill will now become an act, it is now an act, it has passed all its stages in the Parliament, the commencement of it should go to the people, so that the margin of appreciation is seen to be in favour of the application of this bill. Now, in fact, this act.
GBC asked every MP today how they would vote in a referendum. Only 7 government ministers categorically said that they would vote in favour. One said that he wouldn't, and 2 others refused to confirm. So has this referendum been announced because the government didn't have the numbers to pass the bill otherwise, without this caveat?
Well, I think your numbers give it away. We would have had the votes to pass the bill because Malin Hassan Naon would have voted with the government. You
would have had 3 potential defectors from the government, given that we have 7 confirmed. So would it have been 8 versus 9? I know what the answer to the question is, and I tell you, with the vote of Miss Hassan Naon, we would have been able to pass the bill. So I think you're barking up the wrong tree there. I don't blame you for doing so. It looks fair enough. This is an issue of conscience, and I've never whipped government ministers. I mean, Albert Isola was very clear in his statement in Parliament about the fact that he hasn't been asked to vote one way or the other. He was, in fact, in the interministerial committee, and I asked him to sit on the interministerial committee because I understood how conflicted he was on the issue. John Cortes spoke movingly about how his views had developed and how he had to challenge his own views, and why he would now be voting in favour of both the bill and the referendum. So look, the numbers were there to pass this bill, with Malin Hassan Naon voting with the government. Indeed, I don't know whether members of the GSD have been franker with you in the views that they might have expressed to you, and whether some of them might have voted with the government, because some of them have said things that suggest that they are in favour of abortion, although they've been a little bit shy of being so explicit in the way that they've expressed their views. But that was not my concern. This was always a legal issue, because this was not a mandate issue, it was a legal issue because of the Supreme Court decision and the margin of appreciation about that part of the law that went further. We've taken this very seriously. We've been taking advice all of the time, up to the last minute, as you've seen, taking detailed advice, and we therefore have decided to do that which we think we have to do, but without hiding what our views are. As you know, Christina, I could have given you a completely different interview, and I could have offered a completely different speech to the Parliament. But I think the time comes when you have to say who you are, you have to stand up for what you believe, and those are my views, and if people don't like them, look, fair enough.